Mr. Speaker. I rise to move new clause 36 in my name and the name of my honourable friends and right honourable members of the House. I want to be clear that a strong deal that delivers a new equal partnership between the UK and the EU based on cooperation to advance mutual interests while respecting the sovereignty of this country is, of course, in everyone's interest. It is also a golden opportunity for our country to become a free and independent nation, setting up its own laws and in control of its own destiny. I don't think anybody in this House would disagree with that. And, of course, while we understand that while the government is in a negotiation process, all negotiations require a degree of give and take. And of course, there are lines, red lines, and certain lines cannot be crossed. And this is clear as well in terms of the debates that we are having right now, in terms of the proposal and the propositions that we are taking to the European Union. Now, new clause 36 cements into legislation the principle of reciprocity. It is clear and unambiguous. It was disappointing to see in the White Paper that it did not commit to that. What was in the White Paper is a proposal that does not deliver an equal partnership, but actually one that doesn't put us on an even playing field. The White Paper states that because the EU would need to be confident that goods cannot enter its customs territory without the correct tariff and trade policy being applied, we will effectively adopt much of that policy and collect tariffs on behalf of the EU. But the White Paper then states that the UK is not proposing that the EU applies the UK's tariff and trade policy at its border for goods intended to the UK. So we are being asked to allow this legislation to pass that will mean that the government can agree with the EU to collect taxes for them and provide assurances about goods entering the UK heading to the EU. But we do not expect the same arrangements to be provided by the EU in return. So why are we planning to give the EU assurances and confidence which we do not expect them to provide us in return? This, of course, Mr. Speaker, of course I'll give way.
I think the right lady for giving way. So can she confirm whether it's her view that her amendment conflicts with or is in line with the government policy as per the White Paper published last week?
Well, I think also I've just made the point as well that it was disappointing to see in the White Paper that the principle of reciprocity wasn't in there. And my honourable friend has already heard me say that I want to see an equal partnership. And what has been proposed is not an equal partnership. It is yet another compromise that we are making with nothing in return. And so the government has the chance to address this by backing this amendment. The EU will then know in the negotiations that they cannot attempt to steamroller the government on this issue, and that if they want to benefit from the UK collecting their tariffs, then they need to adopt a similar reciprocal arrangement. So far in the Brexit negotiations, Mr. Speaker, we have negotiated, collectively the government has, in good faith. We have been open and transparent and have already made many compromises and concessions. That is right and that is fair. The Prime Minister, within a week of taking office, gave up our turn to hold the EU presidency in the second half of 2017 as a gesture of goodwill. We have offered guarantees to citizens' rights as early as possible, but the EU would not accept that. We have offered £40 billion of British taxpayers' money, and yet the trade deal that would benefit this country and the EU is being blocked by EU officials who are, quite frankly, not engaging with us. So I think the point here is that as we progress to the next stage of negotiations on the future of the UK-EU relationship, Britain does need to be an equal partner with the EU and not their tax collector. This amendment means that there would have to be a genuine reciprocal arrangement established, that they also put into law that the UK will not be part of an EU VAT regime and that Northern Ireland will be treated the same as the rest of the UK. We are proposing putting into law as a safeguard what the government has said it wants. Now, the public want to know that their political leaders will stay true to the promises made to them that Brexit means Brexit, and that we are putting in place plans for an economic and political renewal of our nation. And that, of course, means the government having the desire, the interest to listen and to modify these proposals, but at the same time listen to the public at large.